Good morning. Likutei Moharan Zayin Tinyana. We are in Od Vav. We are at the end of the Od. Rabbeinu is teaching us about makifim. When you're involved in giving over your knowledge, because you have pity and mercy on the ones that are not yet following Torah Hashem, when the tzaddik is involved in teaching us his knowledge, he's doing what we said, to empty up his reservoirs. He's freeing up space in the hard drive. He's allowing for a new makif to come in. When I'm giving over my information on my small level, so if I have level 50 of wisdom, so I'm getting to level 50.1, and then 50.2 and 50.3. If you are at level 1 million of wisdom, which let's imagine that that's the highest level in the world, so what is the wisdom that you're drawing down when you give over your wisdom? So you're getting what Reboh is calling a makif, that is limana min hazman. You're giving a makif which is above time and space, because you are now privy to information which there's not enough time in the world to explain that knowledge to anybody else. And that is what the tzaddik has access to. So maybe we could say that sometimes he still does give it to us in, a mitzuntzam fashion. He has access to this iceberg, but he's going to give us the tip to be able to touch it a little bit and have the energy and the koach and the strength from that place. Reboh said he's taking Torah from Atik. Atik is the highest of the worlds.
Mitroken is to empty?
To empty. So now, we said yesterday that the knowledge that the tzaddik is getting from that place is from the knowledge of the next world, which is called Marav Tufra Sher Tzafanta. So we're about 4 or 5 lines from before, at the end, before Zayin. Marav Tufra that's speaking in Chazal about the next world. The beauty, the bliss, the pleasure of the next world is called Marav Tufra Asher Tzafanta Direcha. Nobody knows. Ein Norata. Nobody knows, at least the regular person, the bliss and the wonder and the joy and the pleasure of the next world. So, but if you're getting the Torah of the next world here, so you're getting Marav Tufra Asher Tzafanta. Now, Marav Tufra Asher Tzafanta is not only that, it's something else as well. What is the Ma? That gives you something else. That gives you another perspective. That gives you a lot of humility. And that's what it says here, Ma Daika. See in bold? Ki hen b'chinat ma chamita, ma pishpashta. Like we exposed yesterday, what do you know already? When the tzaddik receives that knowledge, he becomes very, very humble. Ma chamita, ma pishpashta. You know Shas. Very good. But you know all the sodot of Shas. Rabbeinu said he learned Shulchan Aruch a few times in his youth. One was the simple pshat, halacha. One was with the mekor of all the dinim. So not only he knew the halacha, he knew exactly where to figure it out from where it comes from. This Gemara, al pi this Rishon, al pi that Rambam, al pi this compromise that the Shulchan Aruch made, and he knows the Shulchan Aruch with the source, next level. And then he said he knew the sod of every halacha. Now he understands why al pi Kabbalah that halacha needs to be like that in context of the the shtashlut of the anamot and what it does to the world. And that was just at the beginning. So you know the whole Shulchan Aruch. Who knows the whole Shulchan Aruch? But do you know it with the source? Do you know it with the Kabbalah? So as much as you know, you have a rich guy. He's the rich guy of Montreal. He's the big donor in Kotze Luke. So he could have a little bit of gava. And then the big donor of Panama shows up, or the big donor of Mexico, or the big donor of Manhattan, or the rich guy from Florida. All of a sudden, he feels pretty small. Thought it was big stuff, and then I see that there's bigger than me. I had a few million in the bank. I have a few buildings. And then you see a person that owns 10% of Manhattan. You start to realize your place. So when you start to get access from the next world, it's called that, Lashon of Chassidut, that bimkom gdula, there's a bitul. When you have greatness that's revealed to you, that's when you start to feel anava. I was once here with Rav Kenning, he was here, and there was Rav Busso here with him. Rabuso is the grandson. There's a picture of it. I'm sitting there with Rav Kenning and Rabuso.
When I was here a few months ago?
Rabuso's brother.
Okay.
So he came here once. Not Rav Shlomo Buso, Rav Shlomo Buso. He's a grandson of Baba Saleh. He asked Rav Kenning, I don't understand one thing. How do we get rid of the gava? Everything I can work on, but how do I get rid of my honor, my haughtiness? And the Rav told him, as if like, whoever is mitnotzetzlo or Hashem, it's not even a question whether you're going to have haughtiness or not. If the light of Hashem is shining on you, you feel completely nullified. When you're getting access to knowledge of the next world, you start to realize, ooh, you have a long way to go. You have a lot. As much as you know, you don't know it all. You've reached the ultimate summit of knowledge in this world, and what do you start to realize? That you don't know a thing. Because compared to the next world, all your knowledge of this world is actually nothing. So the tzaddik, because he knows everything that he can know, starts to realize that he doesn't know anything at all. And that comes with a lot of humility and a lot of strength in Avodat Hashem. You stop being complacent. You stop being satisfied. Baruch Hashem, I made it. Baruch Hashem, I know. Baruch Hashem, on the top. When you start to see somebody that there's much more to know, much more to have access to, you start to move. And you don't do it with any gava whatsoever. Kihu keter, v'zeh b'chinat shefa keter. This place is the highest influence of the highest sfira, which the highest sfira is keter. And the shefa keter is this makif of onam haba, ki keter hu b'chinat makif, k'mo shekatuv kitrulu et binyamin. In Shoftim, they were surrounding Binyamin. So a keter, and that they called it kitru. Kitru is a surrounding. A keter is on top of the head. It's a makif surrounding you. So the shefa keter is giving you, you reach the highest sfira, the highest place that you could, and you start to get an influx from that place, and that's going to bring you tachlita yidiyah asher lo neda. Rav Kenning would tell a certain story over and over. I heard it many times from him. And the reason he would tell it, because usually you tell a story that you live. Why, you hear 100 stories, but why one sits with you? Because you have a connection with that story. And he used to tell the story that the Banatanya met the Magid of Dubno. The Banatanya was Gadol Ador, of Shlomo Zalman Liadi. He was the first Rabbi of Chabad, Tamid of the Magid. He was a Gaon. The Magid told him to write a Shulchan Aruch, al pi his psakim, and today it's one of the most used sfarim in Am Yisrael, especially by the Hasidim. It is the psak for the Hasidim, Machloket Mishnah Berurah and the Rav Balatanya, they'll go with the Balatanya. And he was a Gaon. He was Sar Torah, he wrote Sfarim, he wrote the Tanya. You can even once Rabbeinu was with Rav Nosson. And Rabbeinu told to Rav Nosson, you're Chad B'dor in Chidushim. In your Chidushim, you're the top in the generation. And Rabbi Natan said, 1 second, there's the Balatanya. What about him? And Rabbeinu gave an answer why he felt that Rabbi Natan it can do better. But you see that Rabbi Natan was saying there's the Balatanya. The Balatanya met the Magid Duvno. The Magid Duvno was a Ban Musar. He used to travel from community, a Magid, he was a speaker, and he was giving all beautiful mashalim. There's books from him. He had a mashal to explain everything. When you give a mashal, it brings things down more tangible to be able to understand it. You keep in theory and esoteric, it's hard. But when you give a mashal for something, so the Balatanya told the Magid, give me musar. Tell me some chizuk. Tell me what I have to work on. So the Magid answered back, how can I tell you? You're the Gadol Ador. I'm just a mechazik. I have nothing to tell you. He said, your job is to give chizuk, you give chizuk. So the Magid thought for a second, and he told him the following thing. He told him the distance, the knowledge that the Balatanya has in comparison to the knowledge that I have, you're light years ahead. The amount of Torah that you know, the amount of wisdom that you have, you blew me out of the water. I have no comparison to you. Meaning the distance between us and wisdom is very great. Do you agree? Balatanya. Balatanya, of course, agree. It's true. He says, but the distance between your knowledge and Hashem's knowledge is much greater than the distance between your knowledge and my knowledge. In other words, to say, as great as you are, don't start patting yourself on the back. Because what do you know? You know more than me, but what am I? A little nobody. But compared to Hashem, what do you know already? So, ma chamita ma pishpashta. As great as you are, the Gadol Ador, what do you know compared to Hashem? The Gadol Ador can be the most anav. Because his level of reference is Hashem. So if your level of reference is Hashem, you feel the smallest in the world. Moshe Rabbeinu is anav mikol adam. Pshat, he feels as he is the most small in the whole world. Anybody in the world is better than him. That's how Moshe Rabbeinu feels. Why? Because you actually know how small you are. It's not, we don't know how small we are. We think we're doing pretty good because we don't have access to the light and the knowledge and the makif, which is higher than us. So that's what it's called, machamita mapishpashta. The tzaddik has access to that. The fact that he has access to that is very important. We'll see now in Od Zayin. You guys got it so far? It's clear? Od Zayin. V'zeh chacham shezocheh le'elo makifin. So this chacham, this tzaddik who's holding there, that he is b'chinat ma, b'chinat shefa keter, u'tzarich shieh lo b'chinat kol. It's not enough to have ma, he needs to have kol. Chaf lamed. B'chinat kol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz. The pasuk says, Divrei Yamin, b'shamayim u'ba'aretz. Kol b'shamayim ba'aretz. We'll have to look up over there the context. Targumo de'achid shmaya ve'ara. Actually, what it is he's unifying the heavens and the earth. The tzaddik needs to be connecting both places. Hainu. She'ochez v'mekayem shno nanamot. He can hold on to both, and he can support both. Olam ha'elyon ve'olam ha'tachton. Upper world and lower world. Shem b'chinat shamayim ba'aretz. These are deep concepts, and there's many meanings on each of them. You can find them, they will turn out to be many different things. You can explain them in many levels. But says Rabbeinu, ki atzadik ve'achacham anal, u'tzarich shieh ochez b'shneim. Likayem et kol echad v'echad b'bchinato. He's got to be holding there to maintain each one on his own level. Ki yesh darim mana v'yesh darim mata. There are people that are living above, dare, and there are people that are living below. Dainu, olam elyon ve'olam tachton. B'bchinat shamayim ba'aretz. There are people that are there, and there are people that are here. Sounds to be like angels, and sounds to be like people. But Rabbeinu is saying there's shamayim ba'aretz. There's people that are they're in heaven. There are people here on this world. והצדיק, וצריך הצדיק להראות לדרי מנה שאינם יודעים כלל בידתו יתברך. שזה בחינת השגה של מה. בחינת מה חמית, מה פשפשת. The tzaddik is the Rebbe. The tzaddik is the chacham. The tzaddik is dealing, like we said at the beginning of the Torah, with every single one of Am Yisrael. He is the merciful one in all of Klal Yisrael. And he needs to make sure that you're advancing. Moshe Rabbeinu is the Rebbe for the lowest water carrier. That's a nantin, that coming from another nation, that's jumping onto Am Yisrael. It was the Netinim, they fooled on Moshe Rabbeinu to get into Klal Yisrael. He put them to be water carriers. So you have a water carrier that doesn't know anything. It's his time. Who's your Rebbe? Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu is also the Rebbe for Aaron HaKohen. Then Aaron HaKohen, before Moshe Rabbeinu comes, he's the leader. If Aaron HaKohen wouldn't have got off the Rebbe chair, it would have been him. He is the tzaddik. He is the son of Amram. He's older than Moshe Rabbeinu. He is the Gadol Ador besides Moshe Rabbeinu. So he is the Rebbe of Aaron as well. Let me ask you, how do you get Aaron HaKohen to step up his game? How do you get Aaron HaKohen not to be complacent, not to feel satisfied, not to pat himself on the back? You need to show Aaron HaKohen ma chamita ma pishpashta. You need to show the Balatanya. You didn't start yet. I didn't tell you, by the way, that the Balatanya, when he heard that story from the Maggid, he started to cry. He started to cry. Now, if Kenny would tell over that story, he would be almost tearing himself. Meaning, yes, you know Kabbalah. Yes, you're the Talmid of Rav Mordechai Sharabi. Yes, your father is Rav Gedalia. Yes, you know the Likutei it was flowing out of his veins. But what do you know already? Do you know who Rabbeinu is? You come close to Rabbeinu? I was telling somebody on my Shabbos table this week that there's a Lashon in Torah Tinyana of how the tzaddik is mikasher all the ritzonot to Hashem. The tzaddik has the ability to change all of your desires from a worldly desire to holy desires. Meaning, what defines the way you spend your day and what you're running after, what you want inside? So you can have a person that wants money and food and women and honor and buildings, and then you have a guy, he wants shas, he wants chatzot, and he wants tzedakah. He wants to feed poor people and build kolenim. How do you get from here to here? The tzaddik has the ability to change you. If you follow the right rules, he changes you from this to this. He can change all of your insides, all your desires from here to here. Okay? And the Rav was speaking about this. And now the Rav, when you're looking at such a tzaddik, especially simple Pashut people, they see, speaking about the tzaddik. So you're a tzaddik, so you can do that also. They started to give a hint to the Rav that he should do that as well. And the Rav stood up and he said, we're talking about the tzaddik gadol b'mala. We're speaking about, who can change the insides of a person? You can know the future, you can make a miracle, you can give a haftacha, you know the Torah. But now to change the essence of the person, he took a step back and said, please don't confuse. In other words, there's the tzaddik gadol b'mala. The tzaddik emes is doing that. What it really means though also is that the tzaddik emes will work through you, through his Talmud. So it's not really him doing, but since he's in line with Rabbeinu, so if you come to the Talmud, you come to Rav Nosson, you come to Rabbi Avram, you come to these tzaddikim, so you're going to get it through the Talmidim. But don't think it's Moshe Rabbeinu working through Pinchas, through Nazar, through the Nisim. It's not the Nasi, it's through Moshe Rabbeinu and the Talmud. So he made it very clear, don't mix up. There's a Talmud and there's the Rebbe. Aaron HaKohen is a Talmud. How do you get Aaron HaKohen to cry? How do you get him to cry and to feel like he didn't do anything? Only Moshe Rabbeinu can do that. Tell him, Aaron, what did you know already? I saw what's there. And the same energy and kedusha and holiness that he gets from that place, he can mapid it and put it on somebody else lower than him, for them to feel like they know nothing. So the job of the tzaddik is to get the people that are high in Avodat Hashem to make them feel that they haven't started, because you have not started in comparison to really what there is to do. Like the Rav told me yesterday, you finished a smicha. No, that's it. You're done. You're done. Come on, get moving. On the other hand, I don't want to go over time. You have a question, John?
A couple questions. That's fine. I can ask.
So we have 2 minutes left. I'm not going to go over. But once Rabbeinu wrote a letter to his daughter, and we have that letter printed, and he was praising her and singing her praises and telling her how special she was and chashuv she was. And if I remember well, that she cried when she got the letter, because she said, if he has to pick me up so much and raise me and praise me, it means I'm a very low level. When you get from the tzaddik a feeling of you are zero, that's actually a very good sign.
Except for his wife. Except for the tzaddik's wife.
Sure. What I mean is, you come to Uman 1 year, and you're going to see in a second, you feel that Hashem is with you every step. Hashem loves me, He's with me as I am. And you come back another year, what do you feel? He says, I didn't even start yet. I don't know nothing. I'm a big zero. Wow, how much I have to move. Wow, how much I have to know. Okay, tell me, when is your Gemara class? When's the Arachot here? Explain me those things. That's because the first year tzaddik brought you in with chizuk. Now you're already on the next level. Please, you think you made it? That's it. You're stopping here. Stopping here. We'll stop here. Yom.